Welcome to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County. We're so thrilled that you're on your way to become a mentor to a young person in our community. My name is Danica, and I am the agency's Vice President of Programs. I'll also be the person walking you through our required youth safety training. If you're coming on board with us while we're respecting physical distancing policies from our state and county, your mentoring journey is going to look very different than the way our program is traditionally run. But the great thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters is that mentoring can happen wherever you are. As we explore what strengths virtual mentoring can offer youth who are really feeling especially lonely and isolated right now, we're grateful that you're stepping up to be that supportive, positive role model. Our volunteer training is a requirement to make sure that you know how to best support youth safety and healthy behaviors for the mentees in our programs. We ask that you pay close attention to this video and any other materials and sessions that follow. If you have any questions at any point in the process, let us know. Our contact information will be at the end of the video. In the meantime, let's get started with some introductory information that will help you be better prepared for our online group training. You're probably already very familiar with our organization's mission and vision at this stage. Our mission is to build and professionally support one-to-one relationships to ignite the biggest possible future for youth. The important message to focus on here is that Big Brothers Big Sisters emphasizes the power of a long-term one-to-one mentorship. That means one role model working with one youth. This approach allows bigs like yourself to help a young person identify what it is that they want to set and achieve as their own unique goals. Our vision is that all youth achieve their full potential. Here in Ventura County, we serve about 1,500 youth each year. We're constantly learning to grow and shape our programs to be accessible to more and more communities, because we estimate that with enough volunteers and enough resources, there are approximately 6,000 youth at any given day in Ventura County who are seeking the support of a mentor. As we grow our programs, we better understand the diversity of our communities and the voices that come to the table. Big Brothers Big Sisters welcomes everyone from all backgrounds and all experiences and all identities. Our non-discrimination policy states the youth, parents and guardians, volunteers, board members, agency staff, and any other participants are not excluded from our programs on the basis of race, religion, national origin, color, gender identity, marital status, sexual orientation, or ability. We ask our mentors to respect this policy as active volunteer representatives of our organization as well. There are a few terms we'd like you to be familiar with, and that will be important during the group training. BBSVC is an acronym that we use interchangeably with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County. It's also our URL and most of our social media handles. So if you're searching for us online, that acronym is the easiest way to find us. And yes, there are only 2 Bs. If you try using 3 Bs, you may accidentally be taken to Big Brothers Big Sisters, Vermilion County, Illinois. A big is what we call our volunteer mentors, and a little is how we refer to our mentees. It's important to note not every big wants to be called a big, and not every little wants to be called a little, especially if they don't think they're very little. In our group training, we'll talk about ways you can decide on how you and your mentee would like to be introduced. When we refer to match support, we're talking about case management. This is the professional support provided by our match support specialists, or our case managers. Match support is mandatory ongoing updates on how the match is doing, where the case manager, or that match support specialist, speaks with the youth, volunteer, parent or guardian, and anyone else who's deeply involved in the mentee's life. It's important to remember that match support is a core, required part of our program and will be heavily discussed at our group training. We have a number of program categories. The type of program that you are applying to participate in is called our community-based program. This is because you're applying to be matched with a youth where you'll be permitted to go out in the community to pursue hobbies, interests, and experiences. In this program, BBSVC matches carefully screened adult volunteers with youth who are facing adversity within the age range of 6 to 18 years old, or sometimes as old as 21, depending on the subcategory of the program. Typically, during the life of a match, matches spend approximately 2 to 4 hours per week, one-on-one time, for a period of at least a year. However, these are the traditional requirements of a mentoring match with BBSVC. If physical distancing requirements are in place at any point of your match, whether that's during your volunteer enrollment process, your first match meeting, or ongoing meetups with your little, you'll receive follow-up materials with some instruction of how BBSVC allows for match interactions. And of course, your match support specialist will be available to guide you through every step of the process and whenever you may have questions. If you're interested in learning more about any of our specialized programs, let us know. BBSVC has a number of program categories that focus on certain demographic needs: foster youth mentoring, working with youth who have experience in the juvenile justice system, supporting LGBTQ+ youth, and sharing experiences across generational differences. We also have robust site programs at certain schools and locations across the county where we give high school students the opportunity to become the mentors themselves and create cycles of positive mentoring experiences in their neighborhoods. When you become a BIG, there are certain expectations for what commitment to your role looks like. These commitments are part of what allow us to ensure youth safety and well-being in our programs. A BIG must be prepared to do the following. Commit to spending 12 months in their role at minimum. Of course, we hope that you'll choose to continue your match well past a single year. The time does pass quickly, and our goal as an agency is to make sure that your mentoring experience becomes second nature. Commit to spending consistent, significant time with your little each month. Follow all agency policies, procedures, and ground rules. We'll go over these one by one at our group training. Maintain regular communication with match support staff. Participate in required surveys and assessments. Complete any and all mandatory training at any time these training requirements come up during your match. Last but not least, be patient, open-minded, and understanding. A BIG also puts the safety of youth first. This is our biggest priority. They're not authoritarian and do not impose mandatory changes in a little. They decide activities together with their little, not for them. They're consistent and dependable. If they say they're going to do something, they keep that commitment. They show their mentee that they value their time together. A BIG is patient and realistic. It takes time for bonds to develop between a match. A BIG sets and demonstrates healthy boundaries. As a role model, it's your responsibility to demonstrate what healthy relationships between young people and adults look like. A BIG acknowledges that a positive impact happens after a relationship has been built. A BIG also emphasizes the friendship and fun of the mentoring experience, looking towards a long-lasting relationship. We want our mentors to get involved in other ways and take the opportunity to meet other BIGs in the program. We also want you to realize that problems may come up, but don't let those little problems become bigger problems. And balance your expectations of what a match should or will be like. Your match experience may be completely different than what you're expecting. Either way, our team will work hard to make sure it's a positive experience. You can also expect to be responsible for the following during your match interactions. Any money spent on outings. Your little's parent or guardian can give them money to spend if they choose, but you may not require it as a condition for getting together. Try to find outings that are free or low cost. We can send you ideas as well. Otherwise, you can expect to be the one covering the cost of a movie ticket or Starbucks for your little. BIGs are responsible for scheduling meetups, especially with younger littles and in the beginning of a match. They're also responsible for connecting with their littles between meetups, so you can let them know that you're thinking about them. BIGs should set the tone and example for being realistic and also establishing the level of communication that their little is comfortable with. I mentioned earlier that not every little wants to be called a little and not every BIG wants to be called a BIG. BIG should start the conversation about how introductions should go. Some matches just refer to each other as friends or buddies. Others have special nicknames. One of our younger littles refers to her BIG as Ladybug, while her nickname is Butterfly. BIGs are responsible for establishing the mobile device etiquette. We ask that phones are put away during your match meetups and only taken out for emergencies or checking in with parents or guardians. This last one is optional. If you as a BIG want to take on the responsibility of getting involved with your little school, you'll need to get parent or guardian permission first. Some BIGs choose to do this, for example, if their little comes from a monolingual household where the adults in the home have trouble helping them with schoolwork or teacher communication or navigating individualized education plans, also called IEPs. Do this only if you want to. It's not a requirement for our program, but it does take dedication. There are also things that a BIG is not, and it's important to let us help you maintain certain boundaries like these if you need that help. A BIG is not an ATM. You may be matched with a mentee whose family is facing financial difficulties or experiencing food insecurity. For example, you may drop your little off at home and notice they have no food in the house. It would be understandable to want to say, well, I'm just going to run down to the store, pick up some things for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just this once. But it can become more difficult after doing that once to say no if a parent or guardian asks you to do it again the following week. We also want to make sure our families are fed, but we don't want that burden to fall on you as an individual because it's simply not a sustainable solution. Instead, let your match support specialist know when you notice circumstances like these, and our case management team will connect that family with resources to improve things like their food security, but in a sustainable way. A BIG is not a babysitter or a child care provider. Yes, you are responsible for the well-being of a young person in your care when you're out and about during a match outing, but all of your match meetups and contacts should be done on your terms. For example, it's not okay if a parent or guardian calls you up on a Friday night and asks you to arrange a last-minute match outing because they made plans. Similarly, you're not a taxi service who should be called for pickups and drop-offs outside of your mentoring time. You are a volunteer, not a provider of professional services. Even if you're a youth service professional or a therapist, that role must be differentiated from your mentoring experience. Rely on your match support specialist to provide the professional support for your match and provide your insight through your communication with them. A mentor is neither a parent nor a peer. A mentor is a special person who's distinct from either of these roles. You must still be a responsible adult, but without being parental and without creating parental consequences or rewards. If you find that you have any difficulty maintaining these boundaries at any time during your match, let your match support specialist know. They will work with you to ensure that youth and families are respecting your personal boundaries as well as those set by BBSVC. Everything you just heard is a quick summary of the role and commitments of a BIG in our program. Each bullet point is also listed, essentially word for word, in the volunteer guide you'll receive. There will be a pop quiz at our group Zoom training, so be prepared to recap what some of these commitments and successful traits are for a BIG. But before our group training, be sure to follow us online. You can find us at BBSVC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and once you're matched, you'll be able to join our private Facebook group for BIGs only, Ventura County BIGs Hangout. You'll also be automatically signed up for our newsletter as well as our text blasts through the Remind app. Please make sure that you're receiving those notifications. They provide important updates, insights, and opportunities throughout the year, and also during community emergencies. If you choose to unsubscribe from these alerts, please note, our agency can't add you back into our system without your request. If you're interested, there are additional ways to get involved with us. We have a number of department and event committees, including the opportunity to become a BIG ambassador after you've been matched for 1 year. We're also looking for support at our agency fundraisers and through our matchmaker programs. These giving opportunities are the best way to ensure that BBSVC has the ongoing resources it needs to continue sustaining our programs and supporting the youth in Ventura County who need us. Visit our website for more information about these events, which include our annual golf classic, our Bags Bling and Bubbly Champagne Luncheon, and more. If you're interested in joining our board of directors, we have a packet of requirements and in-depth descriptions of these roles. Lastly, let your own office know that you're applying to be a mentor. Your company might have its own perks for you choosing to volunteer your time, or they might just want to celebrate the work you're doing. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us and let us know. I'm looking forward to seeing you at our upcoming Zoom group training. Until then, thanks for watching this video and for all your time in getting ready to become a BIG.